Yes, I'd love to. Thanks, Jean. I'll be there. 2 o'clock. Goodbye. You know, 3 weeks ago, I couldn't have accepted that invitation. Like so many people these days, we live in the suburbs, and Dave needs the car every day for business. When he was gone, I was practically a prisoner in my own home. I couldn't get out to see my friends, couldn't take part in PTA activities. I couldn't even shop when I wanted to. I had to wait till Thursday night after Dave brought the car home. But that's all changed now. 3 weeks ago, we bought another Ford. The new, low-price, custom-line Victoria. Isn't it stunning? Dave has it all to himself. And I now have the ranch wagon all to myself. It's a whole new way of life. Now I'm free to go anywhere, do anything, see anybody anytime I want to. It's only good common sense. Why be stuck with one expensive car when you can enjoy all the fun and freedom of 2 fine Fords?
The 1950s is here. War is over, and the wives are buying white goods, the husbands buying cars. The masses are content in their newfound freedom. No more war rations, no more fear of domination from the Nazis or the Japanese. The white picket fences now surround houses full of happy, safe families. Who ever thought controlling the masses would be this easy? Well, it wasn't, because this was not to last for long.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome warmly Country Joe and the Fish.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We're certainly delighted to be here today. I'd like to start off our portion of the show by giving you a taste of a little something we call rock and soul music.
Just 10 years later and a new generation. Not happy with the serenity of family life in the suburbs, they wanted to break down the white picket fences and smash down the system they felt was controlling them, controlling the masses. The bastions of society, such as the church and the governments of the world, would now bow to this new chaotic order. An era where peace, love and understanding was the mantra, wrapped in sex, drugs and rock and roll. Keeping everyone in line in the decade of decadence was a concern for the government, who quickly moved to put an end to this disobedience. But some would say they went about it in all the wrong ways. The youth of the 1960s, who worshipped people like Jim Morrison and Timothy Leary, were being dished up, well, this.
Now, you can see the difference between a real cigarette and marijuana. And there'd be no mistaking the texture or contents if you were to handle them. The darker one has been rolled in wheat straw paper. In most of the reefers, a double thickness of paper is used. Now, in the language the addicts use among themselves, marijuana is referred to as Mary Jane, pot, weed, or tea. They never say to each other, let's smoke a marijuana cigarette. They say, let's turn on, or let's blast a joint.
Gosh, I gotta get back to the hotel, which is a madhouse. But anyway.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Is that Garcia? Here comes Garcia. Just about north of that helicopter.
Let's go up there, see back, and catch the next one.
In the United States, the authorities had a revolution on their hands, and control over the masses was becoming a very sticky situation indeed. There were mass rallies right across North America and in many other parts of the world. In America, Jesus and religion and all its threats of hell and damnation was being unceremoniously thrown aside for a new Messiah, one that promised the glories of salvation without the waiting, a Messiah with instant gratification. Timothy Leary asked America to turn on, tune in, drop out, and America said yes.
You're introduced to LSD, and unless you've taken some other drug, like for instance like marijuana or something, well, you know, it's an altogether new thing, and you actually can have a religious experience, and it can be even more important than reading the Bible 6 times or becoming a pope or something like that, you know.
At Millbrook, children as young as 9 were given LSD. The drug was freely available and everyone joined in its ritualized consumption. LSD was not illegal. Leary denied there were dangers and began a propaganda offensive.
The kids who take LSD aren't going to fight your wars, middle-class, middle-aged, whiskey-drinking generals. They're not going to join your corporations, middle-class, middle-aged, whiskey-drinking corporation presidents. Enormous crowds come out to hear me lecture. Whenever I go to a college, it's always sold out. It's not because I'm that clever. It's because they gave me the good lines in the show. Turn on, tune in, drop out.
Timothy Leary brought the establishment to its knees at the very time that establishment needed young people to fight yet another war, this time in Vietnam.
Anti-war demonstrators protest U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War in mass marches, rallies, and demonstrations. Central Park is the starting point for the parade to the UN building. The estimated 125,000 Manhattan marchers include students, housewives, beatnik poets, doctors, businessmen, teachers, priests, and nuns. Makeup and costumes were bizarre. Before the parade, mass draft card burning was urged. Demonstrators claimed 200 cards were burned, but no accurate count could be determined.
Controlling the masses was never as difficult as it was now, with a young, educated population of radical people demanding change. But did it work? No. Come the 1970s and everything calmed down. By the 1980s, most of those die-hard, dedicated protesters of freedom were mortgage-bound parents living in the suburbs, moaning about the cost of living and making sure their own children were safely wrapped up in the cozy blanket of conservative society. The revolution of the 1960s did create changes, but they were small and timid. The wars still went on. The corporations of the world still wielded the power over the consumer. And the governments, well, the governments still controlled the masses.
Bowled over demonstrators one after another. They dried out in the pokey. It took police 1 hour to break up the mob. 33 rioters were arrested.